Hey there, let's take a moment to pull back the curtain on how websites work. You know, the hidden machinery that makes them feel, well, alive. We're going to demystify a really key piece of that magic, something called a servlet.
So think about this for a second. Have you ever been online shopping, you add a few things to your cart, you close the tab, and then you come back a day later, and everything's still there? How does that happen? Well, it's not a glitch, that's for sure. It's actually a really clever process, and the answer starts with this idea of a servlet.
So what is a servlet, really? In the simplest terms, it's a little program written in Java. But here's the twist. It doesn't live on your computer. It lives on a web server, way out there on the internet. And its whole job is to listen for requests from your browser and then build a custom web page just for you, right in that moment. It's the secret sauce behind all those interactive online experiences we take for granted. To really wrap our heads around this, let's try an analogy. Let's stop thinking about the server as a big, cold machine and start picturing it as a kind of workshop.
See, a really basic static website, that's like a file cabinet. You ask for a page and it just hands you the file exactly as it is. Kind of like a printed brochure. It's useful, but it's always the same. A dynamic website, on the other hand, the kind that uses servlets, is so much more. It's that workshop. It doesn't just hand you a finished thing, it actually builds something custom for you on the fly. It's the difference between looking at a picture of a car and getting to build and customize your own.
So if the server is our workshop, then a servlet is like a skilled artisan inside that workshop. Each one is a specialist. You might have one artisan who's an expert at managing shopping carts. Another one is a master of handling login forms. They each have their one specific skill, and they just wait quietly in the workshop until a request comes in that needs their particular talent.
Now, of course, every artisan needs instructions to follow. And for our servlet, those instructions are written in code. Let's take a quick peek at what that looks like.
Okay, don't worry about understanding every single line of code here. Seriously, just think of this as a recipe, a really simple one. This particular recipe just tells our artisan, the servlet, to create a web page that says "Hello World." That's it. It's the most basic job we can give them just to make sure they're listening and can follow instructions.
We write this recipe in a language that's easy for us humans to read, which is called a .java file. But the workshop machinery, the server itself, it speaks a much faster, more efficient language. So we have to translate it through a process called compilation. And what that does is it turns our wordy recipe into a super efficient instruction card, a .class file that the server can read and act on in an instant. All right, so our artisan has their recipe card. But they can't just work on the floor. They need a proper workspace. And that's where something called the servlet container comes into play. The servlet container is basically the workshop manager. You might have heard of one called Apache Tomcat. That's a really popular one. The manager's job is to handle all the artisans. It gives them the tools and the space they need to do their work. It listens at the front door for new requests from visitors, and it makes sure to send each request to exactly the right artisan. It's the crucial link between the outside world and our skilled workers. When you get a servlet container like Tomcat running correctly, you'll usually see a page that looks something like this. And this, right here, this is the grand opening sign on the front of your workshop. It's just a friendly confirmation that everything's set up, the lights are on, and you're officially ready to bring in your artisans and start doing some custom work. Okay, so this brings us to the main event, deploying a servlet. It sounds super technical, but it's not. It's really just a simple process of introducing our new artisan to the workshop and telling the manager what their job is. And you know what? The whole process boils down to these three beautifully simple steps. First, we translate the recipe. We compile our Java code into that .class file. Second, we file that new instruction card in exactly the right spot so the manager can find it. And third, we update the main work roster so the manager knows our artisan's name and which jobs to give them. That's it. Now that second step, filing the recipe card, is pretty important. It happens in a very specific place. Think of it like a special, secure binder in the manager's office. This folder is called webinf/classes, and it's where all the instruction cards, all those .class files, have to go. And what's really important is that this area is private. Visitors can't just wander in and look at them. It keeps the whole workshop organized and secure. And finally, that third step, the work roster. This is actually a special file called web.xml. Just picture it as the manager's master list. In this file, you write down a new entry that says something like, "Hey, I have a new artisan. Their name is Hello. From now on, whenever a customer shows up asking for the /hello job, I want you to assign it to them." This little file is how the workshop manager knows who does what.
So when we step back and look at what we've just done, what have we really accomplished here?
You see, deploying a servlet is so much more than just uploading a file. It's like you've just taught your server a brand new skill. In our case, you've taught it how to say hello world all by itself. This process, this is the exact moment that a server gets promoted from a simple file cabinet to a dynamic, interactive workshop. And once you know how to do this, you can teach it more complex skills, like how to remember a shopping cart, or how to process a login, or how to create a personalized welcome message for every single visitor.
And really, there's a kind of quiet elegance to it all. The next time you're using a website that feels really smart and responsive, you can appreciate what's happening. It's probably not one single giant program doing everything. It's more likely a well-organized system of these small, dedicated artisans, each with a clear recipe, all working together to build your experience just for you, right in that very instant.
So I'll just leave you with this little thought. The next time a website greets you by name or keeps your shopping cart saved for a week, just take a second and picture that quiet digital workshop. What kind of invisible artisan, with what kind of special recipe, do you imagine is at work behind the scenes?